Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I am so glad that you are here for our conversation with Dean Christopher Long of the College of Arts and Letters, Andrew Murray, advisor in the college, and Aaliyah Jones, a current student in our college. My name is LaDonna Croft, and I will be acting as your moderator today for our discussion. I have the pleasure of coordinating recruitment for the college as well as the Citizen Scholars Program. I met most, if not all of you this summer at New Student Orientation. So again, I am so happy that you're here with us this morning as we kick off the new school year. Now, we all know that we are in the midst of a pandemic, and this year will be very different than any of us expected. It will present challenges, but it will also be extraordinary. As we learn and grow together in navigating this new way of doing things, we, as the College of Arts and Letters, are wholeheartedly committed to your success as a student and your growth as a human being, sharing space with billions of other human beings on this planet. Now, before we begin, for those of you that are new to Zoom, and I can imagine that many of you are because we have spent a lot of time together this summer over Zoom, but for those of you that may be new, and as a refresher, you will see a Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. I encourage you to utilize this function as you have questions, and we will try to address those questions along with the ones that you've already submitted to us. I also want to remind you that after our time with Dean Long, Andrew, and Aaliyah, you will have the opportunity to meet with your major departments, with the faculty, with advisors, and in some cases, current students will be there to meet with you as well. So again, if there are questions that we don't address in this moment, know that you will have opportunity to get those questions addressed a bit later. You can refer to the email that I sent you yesterday for the Zoom links for those sessions and the passwords, okay? And now I would like to give a warm introduction to Dean Christopher Long, who serves as the Dean for the College of Arts and Letters here at Michigan State University, and who also is committed to enhancing the undergraduate student experience. Welcome, Dean Long. You now have the floor.
Thank you, LaDonna, and welcome to everyone. It is really great to be with you virtually. I wish I could see everyone's faces, and I see we have 162 and growing participants, so it is really wonderful to be with you this morning. I'd like to begin our time together with a brief moment of silence in honor of those who are sick and died of COVID-19, and for all those who have died and suffered from anti-Black racism in this country. Thank you. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to the College of Arts and Letters at Michigan State University. You are embarking on an educational journey that will transform your lives, and you're doing that at a moment of transformation in our society. I think we've all been impacted by the pandemic that we're experiencing. We worked so hard this summer, all of us on the faculty and the administration and the staff, to do everything we could to make it possible for you all to be on campus this fall. We were tireless in our effort. We had all sorts of contingency plans, testing protocols, spacing and distancing in classrooms, mask protocols, signage already. It was quite an undertaking, 22 subcommittees at the university level, and nonstop meetings, I can assure you, all summer long. But when we saw what happened at North Carolina, which had a very similar plan to ours, and when we saw what happened, what's happening across the country as people tried to come back together in university campuses, the president made, I think, the right call to try to protect the health and safety of our community. And that has been the primary responsibility and the priority for all of us from the start of this. We've said from the beginning that health and safety is the top priority. And the more we can practice that, the more we can make sure we wear our masks and do distancing wherever you are, whether you're in East Lansing or across the globe, across the country. please continue to do that, because the more we can get this under control, the sooner we'll be able to be together and see each other in person on the beautiful MSU campus, which I know many of you have either visited or been on campus or seen images. It is a spectacular place, and I just can't wait to be there again with you all. I want to assure you that, you know, the distance that we have here does not diminish our enthusiasm for your arrival and for your embarking on this adventure in education in the college. And we have done everything we can, and we will continue to work hard and take your suggestions on how we can establish and nurture and develop connection between us as we move through what will surely be a semester unlike any we have experienced certainly in my lifetime. I think probably going back to 1918 or something we'd have to think about in terms of another semester like this. As I mentioned also at the beginning, we are reckoning with a legacy of anti-Black racism that has to be addressed through intentional action. And the education that we aspire to provide you in the College of Arts and Letters is what I call an education for action. It is an opportunity for you to think carefully and critically about the things you value most, about the kind of life you want to live. This is what a liberal arts education is really all about. You have the opportunity to take courses with world-class faculty who have done leading research in their areas of expertise. We have opportunities for you to do research with those faculty members, to have internship experiences, study abroad experiences when we can travel again, and I hope that's soon. I know Aaliyah, who is here, has had some amazing study abroad experiences that we'll talk about in due course. You hear my dog. We are working from home, and my dog is barking, guarding our household like a good puppy. So I apologize for that, but this is the situation we find ourselves in, right? Working from home and be wherever you are and work through it. We lost this summer a figure who is just a towering hero of the civil rights movement, John Lewis. And there was a passage from an op-ed piece that he wrote, actually submitted just before he died, and it was published just after he died, in which he said, you know, democracy is not a state, it is an act, and each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself. And the journey that we hope to empower you to undertake here in the College of Arts and Letters is designed to help you enact the reality of a democracy, bring voice to your most deeply felt convictions, identify the values you care about most, figure out what kind of person you want to be, what contribution you want to make as you consider the course of your life. The liberal arts education really is about creating and crafting a fulfilling life for yourselves and for the community that you belong to. So I encourage you to explore the wide range of opportunities that we have here in the college. The Citizen Scholars Program, which I know LaDonna has talked about and will talk more about as we move forward. The Excel Network, which is designed to provide pathways for careers in various disciplines, and the opportunities to do research with faculty and to study abroad and study away. These are things that are huge opportunities for you to take advantage of as you move through the curriculum and move through your time here at MSU. And in these moments, I always ask students to take care of your future self, to think about what you want to look back on when you are walking across that graduation stage. And by then, please, let's be able to have in-person graduation by the time you do graduate. And imagine the kind of experiences that you will have had when you conclude your time here at MSU. We have a wealth of opportunities for you, and we stand ready to support you as you move through the course of the curriculum and the extracurricular opportunities that we have. So I'm going to stop there. I want to, before I turn it back over to LaDonna to answer some of the questions that we have received already from you, I do want to share my screen for a minute, because we have a number of ways to stay connected with us. And so I have a couple of slides here, if you can see. The College of Arts and Letters has a Facebook page, of course, a Twitter account, Instagram account. Notice that the Twitter account is the reverse of the Instagram account. It's Cal MSU on Twitter and MSU Cal on Instagram. If you're doing things out and about or through your curriculum or online, tag us with hashtag MSUCal. And of course, go visit our website at cal.msu.edu. I also invite you to engage with me online. I am a big fan of Twitter. I guess that now shows my age, but I've been a huge Twitter user. CP Long, please feel free to mention me, tag me, and engage with me on Twitter. I try to embody the values of a good liberal arts education by responding in thoughtful ways to the engagement that I receive. And I'm also, of course, I have 2 teenage daughters, so I'm definitely on Twitter, on Instagram. I was, just for the record, on Instagram first, so that's important to realize. But they are definitely my 2 daughters, who are at 9th and 11th grade, are when they're not on TikTok, they're on Instagram. So, and then I'd also like to share the social media accounts for the Excel Network on Twitter, MSU Excel Network, and Instagram, MSU Excel Network. And then for the Citizen Scholars Program on Twitter, MSU Citizen Scholars, and Instagram, MSU Citizen Scholars. So please take a moment to follow those accounts and stay connected with what we are doing in the college. We look forward to having you part of our online community, as well as through our video conferences and through all the work that you're doing with faculty online. So I'll turn it back over to you, LaDonna. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ding Long, for that thoughtful address. As you were speaking about the having our students explore their options, explore the possibilities, the programs, and the resources that we have in the College of Arts and Letters, I actually would like to start there with a current student in the College of Arts and Letters, Aaliyah, who has taken full advantage of all of the programs and the resources that we have for our students. And so Aaliyah, if you could talk with us just a little bit about some of those experiences, and specifically as it relates to your internships and also your study abroad. How did you find those internships? When did you study abroad? How did you make those decisions, and who helped you with those decisions?
Thank you. That's a great question. So I'm sure, as all of you may have already heard about, experiential learning is definitely one of the College of Arts and Letters' favorite terms, because we really are a college that's dedicated to ensuring that students get experiences beyond the classroom and students get experience in other parts of the world. So I have completed 2 study abroad programs. My first one was an internship where I spent 8 weeks in Sydney, Australia, and I was interning for 3M in digital marketing. And that was definitely a very eye-opening experience in terms of how far away I was from where I lived. So it was 10,000 miles away from my house. And I would like to add that I still saw Spartans in Australia and still heard Go Green. So that's how expansive our legacy is at Michigan State. But that was, like I said, an 8-week program where I got to experience what it was like working in an office environment, in a corporate setting. But then I was also immersed within Australian culture. So if you're an adventurous eater like myself, I always mention what I ate while I was there. So I had some kangaroo steak, I had crocodile on pizza, I ate some termites out of a tree. So I did a lot of interesting and adventurous things, but this was all part of our sort of immersive experience. And my second study abroad was a week-long service learning trip where I went to San Ignacio, Belize for a week and volunteered in a local school. So I was able to help out with the teacher. She even had me teach a math lesson. And I don't know about you all, but math really is not my strong suit, but it was just fractions, so I was able to handle it. And that was another really immersive experience where I was definitely able to gain more cultural understanding and gain more experience with cross-cultural interaction. So a lot of the kids that I was with, some of them didn't speak English at all, so there was language barriers, and it was very interesting to learn how to navigate those experiences. And so in terms of my study abroad, the College of Arts and Letters, as I said, one of my favorite terms is experiential learning. And so the Excel Network and Citizen Scholars definitely helped me to get connected with those opportunities, and not only learn about those opportunities, but also to help fund those opportunities. So if studying abroad is something that you know you're passionate about or you're interested in, you'd like to learn more about, definitely connecting with the Excel Network, connecting with Citizen Scholars if you've decided to become a Citizen Scholar, or if you're still thinking about it. LaDonna and my Citizen Scholars advisors definitely helped me to sort of solidify what I wanted to do and how I was going to study abroad and have an experiential learning opportunity. So the college definitely did an amazing job connecting me with that. We have an amazing study abroad resource fair every single year that highlights hundreds of our study abroad programs, and also, like I said, financial opportunities and scholarships and things along those lines. And so that's how I essentially was able to become connected with it, just really staying up to date and current on my emails, and really being involved in terms of responding to different opportunities, and keeping my eyes open for things that I thought that would fit me and help to sort of build my experiences, because obviously this is a very precious time in our lives, these next 4 years. Being a college student, it's time that you can't get back. So we want to make sure that we take full advantage of all of our opportunities and resources. And I think that answered the question. Was another part that I
have one question. I got to ask about the termites, because I'm thinking, this probably isn't going to be our advertisement for study abroad. Go abroad and eat termites from a tree, but I need to hear that story.
Yeah, so we were on a bush walk. We went to a wildlife park with kangaroo and emu and turkeys just sort of roaming about, and they took us on a bushwalk and sort of showed us the way the Aboriginal people, the native peoples of Australia, lived. And termites was one of their main sources of protein, so they would sort of just like stop and snack on a tree. So I took some out of a eucalyptus tree, and it tasted like eucalyptus, so I think it tasted pretty good. But yeah, that's how I ate termites.
All right, so they were alive. You just pop them right in, huh?
Yeah, so they were alive. You're supposed to just swallow them, but I don't really like the thought of a live bug being in me, so I did like smash it a little bit with my fingers.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Aaliyah. You are truly adventurous, and I admire you. And I do want to encourage those of you that are watching to definitely utilize the Q&A button if you have questions throughout. Andrew, I do want to turn to you for a moment. As you are an advisor in our college, I like to hear from you. How do you help our students prepare for those internships, study abroad, and if you have any tips for them?
Yeah, thanks, LaDonna. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Murray. I'm the academic advisor for the Department of English. I advise students in English and film studies. Internships are a big part and a great opportunity. Study abroad is a great opportunity as well. As Aaliyah had mentioned, experiential learning is really critical to what you'll do during your time at Michigan State. As advisors, we have lots of great conversations with students to try to figure out, how do you want to make an impact in the world? We study great disciplines in the college, whether it's English and film in my department, studying theater, philosophy, studying the humanities more broadly, languages, and so on. And the big question is, how do we turn this experience into something valuable, employable? Do I go to grad school? Like, how do I make those decisions? And experiential learning helps you to craft what that path might look like. So we encourage students to take the skills you're learning in your classes and go abroad and see how you can apply them in a different environment, in a different context. As it relates to internships, it's great to try your hand at something that you think you might be good at. You spend a lot of time learning leadership skills, how to collaborate and communicate, through your classes and working with your peers. And then you think, well, how can I make a difference? Like, I find I'm a really good communicator. In what environments can I use that skill to make a difference in the world? So we really encourage students to utilize the Excel network, to utilize your advisors and staff to talk about what that looks like for you. For some people, you want to maybe work for a big corporation. Maybe you want to go into publishing. For other folks, you might want to work in, a smaller setting in a nonprofit and make a difference on the community level. All of these things are possibilities with the majors in the College of Arts and Letters. It's just a matter of figuring out in what ways do those opportunities match your values and your goals.
One of the things I wanted to add to what, sorry, LaDonna, one of the things I wanted to just add to Andrew's point about, just for those of you who don't know about the Excel network, I mentioned it in my comments, but we really are trying to provide articulated pathways for students in all the majors in our college. We like to say that an education in the liberal arts and the College of Arts and Letters empowers you for a variety of different kinds of careers, and it empowers you to do what you find most meaningful. And the Excel network is really designed to help you experiment and try and find your pathway into a career that's meaningful for you, and to put you into contact with other Spartans. We have a huge network of Spartans in the world who are ready to help support you as you both move through the curriculum here at MSU, but also as you make that transition from college to a world of meaningful work. So this is a really important part of our program.
Thank you. And Andrew, as you were speaking, and really talking specifically how advisors help our students sort of think through what their opportunities are, and think through also the different avenues where they could reach what they're hoping to accomplish. And so can you talk with us a bit more just about that advising process, and how would you say, I know some of our students are wondering, how would you say your role as an advisor differs from a high school counselor? What types of questions can a student ask you? What are the conversations that you're having in your office when you're sitting with, or when you're meeting over Zoom with a student? What are those conversations? And again, how might that differ from a high school counselor?
Yeah, I think the advising relationship is very much having an open way of communication and a two-way street to get to know students. And I try to get to know students and also have them get to know me at the same time. It's really important to build that relationship and rapport so that we can have really open and honest conversations about what a student might want to do with their lives. I think it's that's a really important piece to consider. I would say, as we build that relationship, it allows us to take all the different pieces of a student's life and combine them together into what they might do during their time at Michigan State and plan for their time post Michigan State. So I think in that way, the advising relationship is not transactional, at least in the sense of we're not necessarily a bank teller, in that a student might approach us and say, what class do I need to take? And we'll say, you should take this class. And then the conversation ends. It's very much advisors being coaches, being mentors, being teachers, being cheerleaders, and being kind of that assistant and manager of the undergraduate experience, so that we can take everything that encompasses a student and not just the academic pieces, but the things that make you you, the things that make you unique and different. Taking all of those things, putting them together so that you as a student at MSU and in the college can craft your own unique story and be able to take that from year 1, year 2, year 3, wherever you're at, and make the most out of that experience by the time you get to graduation. We differ from high school counselors in that I think high school counselors do offer, course scheduling and planning supports, give students ideas. They help, with the application process to college and those kinds of things. A lot of high school counselors tend to also focus on like the mental health aspects and those kinds of things. We are also folks who are open to having a lot of those broader conversations as well. But we're also referral agents at Michigan State, meaning we specialize in the academics and curricular planning and kind of this broader life planning model that I've been describing, but we also can connect you to other specialized resources on campus that are appropriate for your questions. So in that way, I would share that I'm not a trained mental health professional, but I can connect you to those people who can support you. And I think the most important thing more broadly is, as you think about your undergraduate career, it's not just about taking classes for 4 years. It's about stringing together and putting together the puzzle of you and where you want to see yourself going in the long term, and having those conversations. And that's what we really focus on.
Thank you, Andrew. And as you're talking about connecting our students to resources, mental health resources, physical health resources, there's also that piece as well where I know that there's helping connect our students to financial resources. One of the questions that we have for students is, are there financial assistance? Is there financial assistance for internships, study abroad? And I'm wondering if you could speak to that. And also Aaliyah, because I know that you've had the opportunity to take advantage of some of those resources. So could you address that as well?
Yeah, so I think the opportunities on campus to get involved, whether it's on campus or off campus through experiential learning resources, I encourage students to think about their identity as a Spartan, to kind of take it apart and fragment it ever so slightly. So to understand that you are a student at Michigan State. So there are some broader resources that are available to every student at MSU. We also have particular resources available to students that are specific to the College of Arts and Letters. And a lot of those are found within the Excel network, which is our hub for experiential learning. So if you want to get involved in research, you want to study abroad, you want to do an internship, do some service in the community, the Excel network is a great first stop to kind of talk about those opportunities. And there's opportunities for funding and other resources there. And then at the department level, so when you look at your major in particular, in English, I know we have specific scholarships for our English majors in particular that students will have access to. So there's lots of great funding resources. When we think about tutoring resources, a lot of those are available at the department level, and there are some at the university-wide level. So if you're looking for help with your writing or help with your math, there's a university-wide writing center where you can access tutors and folks who will help you with everything in the writing process, from brainstorming a topic for a paper, or if your professor says you need to write a research paper on cheetahs and you don't know where to start, they can help you start brainstorming about what that paper could look like. If you've written the paper, they can help you edit and add in your commas and semicolons and all those other things. Same thing with math. They have folks who help on every level of the math spectrum, tutoring resources available. So there's lots of broader resources available for students. And I think if you're ever at a point where I'm not sure who to talk to, it's great to start with your advisor, because we know where these people are, where these places are. LaDonna had mentioned financial resources. So we talked a little bit about scholarships on various levels. There's also the Office of Financial Aid on campus, and there's great advisors and folks to talk to there to see what's available to help financing and funding your education too.
And what's great about those resources that you just mentioned, specifically for the tutoring, you mentioned the writing lab, you mentioned math. I myself have gone onto their websites and figured out what are they going to do. And it looks like they are moving virtual. They are still helping our students in a virtual setting. And so that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Michigan State University and the College of Arts and Letters is that we are shifting with the way that we need to uphold and support our students. And so there is definitely access to virtual tutoring. Your advisors can help you locate all of those opportunities. There is access to even virtual, Andrew, as you were talking about the other resources, the mental health resources. There's access to virtual mental health connection if you need all of that. And so we definitely are not taking a step back, but we're taking a step forward, and we're moving along with what the times are mandating us to do. And we're still providing a very supportive platform for all of our students across the board, no matter what you're needing help with. Andrew, I do want a side note. I just have to tell you that you have so many students in our chat that appreciate you as an advisor. And I just think that speaks to not just you, but it honestly speaks to our advisors as a whole in the College of Arts and Letters. They truly are about connecting and engaging with our students. And so just know, Andrew, that you are appreciated. And so I'm going to put one more question to you, Andrew, and then I do want to move on. One of the things that our students are wondering is, how do you help them translate the study abroad experience to actual credit? Is that a thing? Does that happen? Is it just, a wasted semester? Or can they actually use it towards their graduation?
No, it's a good question. And I want to say, I see you all out there. Shout out to my English and film students. I'm happy that you're here. So study abroad is a really great opportunity to definitely meet degree requirements. And I think you can study abroad at pretty much any time during your MSU career. A lot of times the credits that you might satisfy through study abroad depend on where you're at in your academic career at Michigan State and what requirements you still have to satisfy. Our degrees are so flexible in the college that you could go abroad, perhaps just based on location, to say if you want to go to Australia and you want to eat some termites and things like Aaliyah had described, you could use university required courses to go abroad. You also have your elective space in your degree where you can just take whatever courses are being offered in Australia. If you want to do courses that are more specific to your major, majors and departments all through the college have study abroad programs that are attached to the majors themselves. So you can make progress through your major. But as I tell my students in English, you could read Shakespeare in East Lansing, but why not read Shakespeare in London and go to the Globe Theater and see a show and experience Shakespeare instead of reading it out of a book, right? So there's lots of great opportunities where you can make progress through your major. You could just take random courses for like your university requirements or for your electives. If you want to explore a particular part of the world and we have a program for it, then if you plan it well with your academic advisor, you can make it happen. So that's really exciting.
Thank you, Andrew. I will say that you will have lots of great questions, specifically as it relates to study abroad and that experience, that internship experience. Aaliyah, can you take just a moment and talk to us about when did you specifically study abroad? What years? Was it your junior year, sophomore year? If you could talk with us about that for just a bit.
Yes, of course. I also don't think I ever formally introduced myself, but my name is Aaliyah and I am a senior graduating in May, super excited, and I'm majoring in humanities pre-law with a minor in African Studies. So my internship in Australia I completed after the summer after my sophomore year, so it was last summer, and my study abroad in Belize, it was a week long, so it was over spring break, and it was last year, my junior year, was our spring break trip. So in terms of when to study abroad, I'd like to say that there's no sort of special formula in terms of when you're supposed to go abroad and how things work out. It's definitely specific to your set of circumstances and when you think that's going to best work for you. I mean, we have a variety of study abroad programs, some that occur before your freshman year, and some, that are week long, some that are a semester long. So it's really just about finding what works for you. So personally, I really wanted to study abroad after my sophomore year because I felt like I had gotten 2 years at MSU sort of under my belt, and a lot of knowledge in different areas, but then I was able to study abroad, come back, and then have 2 more years to sort of implement the things that I had learned in my new experiences in the rest of my career at Michigan State during my undergraduate career. So I really enjoyed studying abroad after my sophomore year, depending on if you're doing a summer program or if you're studying, want to study for a semester or do a full year academic program. We have a variety of different lengths. And so I think that also is a factor in terms of deciding when you want to go abroad. But that's when I decided to study abroad.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. And as we're looking at the Q&A, there's a very valid question in there because we do recognize that not everyone who is on this webinar with us is in the state of Michigan. Some of you are in California. Some of you are, across the states, and your time zones are different. So Dean Long, can you talk with us just a little bit about, as we move forward and maybe host more of these types of events, how do we plan to accommodate those in different time zones?
Yes, I appreciate that. Thanks, LaDonna. I really appreciate this question from the anonymous attendee because we're working on this. This is not something we've done before in a fully worked out way. And so having this feedback and having the space to provide the feedback, we've talked in the college a lot about creating a space for a culture of care. We want students to feel cared for. We want our faculty and staff to care for each other and to feel cared for in our college. And first of all, as we do more of these webinars, and if you find them helpful, which given the number of questions we have, I'm seeing positive signs for sure, we want to be mindful of everyone and where everyone is. So we will definitely be taking into consideration the different time zones that people are in. To be perfectly candid, this was the time that we have historically done this event. Normally we are in the student union with a room full of new students. And so we kind of said, okay, well, we have to do the event at that same time, which of course online, we need to think differently. So, because we have an opportunity to do something different. So thank you for that question. We will definitely be mindful of it as we move forward.
Thank you, Dean Long. And I do want to point out, I am noticing the time, and I know that we may not be able to get to all of your questions. So what I do want to say in this moment is that when you go to your next session with your major departments, your faculty members will be there, advisors will be there. In some of those sessions, current students will also be there as well. So any of the questions that we were unable to address for you this morning, you can definitely have those questions answered by your advisors and faculty members in those department sessions. But because I have you with me, Aaliyah, what I want to do right now is ask you, because one of the things that our students are wondering is, how do we make friends with a completely online environment? Can you talk with us about even your process, because you're moving to a completely online environment along with our new students? So what are your plans for maintaining connections, making connections? What advice do you have for our new students coming in with making connections?
That's a great question. And I definitely think I would start off by saying, obviously, to stay connected. I'm sure we've all been sort of utilizing various technology and various social media platforms frequently throughout this entire process to stay connected. And I've noticed our university in general has done an amazing job at providing opportunities for students to still engage and still connect with one another. So our University Activities Board is an amazing resource that hosts events and is now hosting virtual events for our students to be able to connect and engage. We're also starting a Circles of Success mentorship program that you all should be getting more information about soon if you haven't already. And that's another resource that they're assigning mentors such as myself to our first year and transfer students to be able to make that connection in a group and with people who have various similar interest areas. And so I definitely think really just sort of maintaining a positive attitude and reminding yourself that this is temporary, but this is how we're going to start these connections. This is how it's going to get sort of how we're gonna get the ball rolling, but soon enough, I hope to be able to have those in-person interactions. But like I said, I saw they hosted a movie night, so it was like a virtual movie night for all students. And if you are some of the select few who are on campus, they were having different areas you could pick up popcorn and be able to sort of engage in that experience virtually. And so I know that there's a lot of that still happening in terms of our workout classes. So we do Zumba online and yoga online, and we've been really able to connect in that regard. And yeah, just definitely following a lot of our like you follow the Cal accounts, following our University Activities Board, which I believe is UAB at MSU on Instagram, and our MSU Live On account, which is MSU Live On Instagram and Twitter. They've all done amazing jobs at finding resources to connect all of our students during this semester.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. And what I will do for those of you that may have missed out on the email that has all of the Zoom links for you, I can send that again for you when we're done here. And I'll make sure that you have it before 10 o'clock. That's when that next session will start. And so I will send that email out to everyone again, just to be sure that you have the appropriate Zoom link and the password for those sessions, because I don't want you to miss them. You're gonna have hear great information and have a great time meeting with your faculty and the staff over at those meetings. Dean Long, before we wrap up here, I do want to ask you a couple questions that we did get from our students regarding our forward movement with everything being virtual, everything being online. What are your thoughts on this fall semester, and what are student organizations going to look like this fall? And even if you could talk just a little bit about connecting with our faculty members and our professors. This is all happening online. So talk with us about your thoughts on those things.
Gotta unmute myself. Gotta stop. I was about ready to start talking without unmuting myself. So I did respond to Samir. I had a question. I put a link in that response if you can see it to Sparticipation. I was worried about whether I could pronounce that word. In student life has Sparticipation, a link to Sparticipation, which is the forum that you can go to learn more about all the many organizations that you can participate in at MSU. And I know that they have virtual events this week where you can begin to connect with organizations. And then those organizations will definitely have modes of engagement virtually online. So that will be a really important part of your time at MSU, is establishing those connections. And that was one of the ways that we hope you'll be able to do that virtually and online. We've been working very hard, as I said at the beginning, to try to figure out more ways to deepen our connection with one another. The human connection that we try to foster in our college. We have, MSU is a gigantic place. Our college is relatively big, but not as big as some colleges. And we really want you to feel connected to your colleagues, to connected to your faculty, to the staff. I'm so glad to hear that people are connecting with Andrew and with our advisors. We have an amazing group of advisors who are just so committed to giving you what you need to be successful. They have been spending all summer long, both in new student orientation, but also thinking about how can we continue to nurture the connection with each other online. So we're going to be learning along the way, and we have some ideas on this, but we definitely want your feedback as you think of things that would be helpful to you. As you reach out to us, we are committed to responding to you as individuals. We think of the education we provide as, I think as LaDonna mentioned at the beginning, holistic education for the whole person. We want you to nurture and develop as individuals within this community of MSU, and then make a difference more broadly in the community outside of MSU to make the world a better and more beautiful place.
Thank you so much, Ding Long. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Aaliyah. I appreciate you and everyone for being here with us this morning. As we wrap up, I do just want to say once again that I will be sure to send out that email with the link for your sessions. Majority of the sessions do start at 10 a.m. But if you are studying a language or linguistics, your session starts at 10:30. And so again, I will get that email out to you right when we're done here. And as a reminder, they will start. So you have a good 15 minutes. So we're going to give you a break so that you can get refreshed, step away from the computer for a little bit, and then come right back ready to get going again with your department sessions. I do, again, thank you all for participating. And we just appreciate you being here with us this fall. We appreciate you being here with us throughout all of your journey with us here in the College of Arts and Letters, and we are definitely here to support you along the way. All of us are. Dean Long, did you have any final remarks before we let everyone go?
I want to thank you, LaDonna, for doing such an amazing job moderating and facilitating this conversation. Aaliyah, you are amazing. It's so great to hear more about your experience at MSU. I'm so grateful for all that you do for the college and for MSU and for our students. And Andrew, thank you so much. The words we've heard from students are eloquent testimony to your amazing work and to the work of our advisors. And I would just say to the students, we are so thrilled to have you join us. We could not be happier. We are here for you. Please find ways to reach out to one another, as I see you communicating through the Q&A. You know, these are your colleagues. These are going to be your lifelong friends as you move through your programs. You know, now is the time to just take advantage of being new together and really just reach out to each other and start conversations so that those relationships can deepen over time. It is great to have you here, and normally we do a big go green, so I'm going to say it, go green.
Go white.
Go White!
Right.
All right.
Thank you all for being here. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.